So, hi everyone, my name is Francesca Ferrando. I have written a couple of books on the posthuman, philosophical posthumanism, the art of being posthuman. I've been teaching posthuman philosophy for more than a decade at NYU Liberal Studies and also at CIIS, starting this year, California Institute of Integral Studies. And I realized that often posthumanism become just a theory that doesn't impact our life, that doesn't impregnate our life, doesn't change our life. And I realized that through the pandemic, that was not what we were searching as a community. That posthumanism is a philosophy, and as a philosophy is a path of wisdom. And as a path of wisdom has to help us navigate challenging times and our life. It has to enrich our life. So that started the whole process of, enriching the discussion to existential posthumanism. A lot of the people today connecting are already part of the discussion. And it's when posthumanism is recognized no longer just as a theory, but as a practice of existence, as a discipline. When we are our own disciples in the way we act, that's how we teach. So that started a new process that actually went very well in coordination with this new generative AI, because I believe that a lot of the theory can be found online. If you ask ChatGPT or Gemini, or even if you look into Wikipedia, you find a lot of interesting answers about theory. But the practice of that can only be done through us, through our embodiments, through our lives. So what does it mean to teach as a posthuman, to live as a posthuman, to learn as a posthuman, to make a change as a posthuman? So these are all the questions that we're going to embrace through this course. And in my specific module, I'm going to focus on technology as a technology of existence. So for instance, right now, the laptop or the phone that you're using is not seen just as a technical object, but it is seen as a part of a process that is actually manifesting reality. And it is an experience. It's not an object. We are not the subject. It is an interbeing, a connection. And that's how we are manifesting reality. So everything in this sense can be seen as a technology of existence. And we're going to focus specifically on our own lives as the highest work of art that we can ever manifest in our own existence, in our own being part of this collective experience. So again, I'm so excited to be here with everyone. I'm going to give sharing the podium with the other faculty, and then we're going to go a little more deeply into our website and anything that also can be more technical and practical. We're going to look into that. But now I'm going to give 2 minutes to each of the faculty to introduce themselves, and maybe I would like to ask Debashish Banerjee to go next.
Thank you, Francesca, and welcome everybody. I am Debashish Banerjee. I teach at the California Institute of Integral Studies in San Francisco. I'm teaching Indian philosophies and cultures, and the interest in posthumanism is something I share with Francesca. We've worked together for many years now. And particularly the notion of existential posthumanism, what we can do ourselves in our everyday life to address the notion of exceeding the humanities or the humanist paradigm in which we find ourselves. So in this course, I will be addressing the notion of world wisdoms and how they can be integrated into posthumanism, existential posthumanism. So wisdom is very different from what we, in our normal understanding, consider a mode of knowing. It's a very different mode of knowing. And the idea is that this mode of knowing is something that we can have access to, but the assumptions of this mode of knowing are very different from the assumptions that humanist ways of knowing give us. So we will address that, and we will also address the historicity of the wisdom traditions of the world, the various ways in which wisdom has arrived. And we will see how, due to the historicity, there have been differences, as well as there have been certain biases, exclusions, even violences that have entered what are traditionally called wisdom traditions, when we put them into relationship with the needs of our own time and our own particular situation. And that is what we consider to be an aspect of post-humanist ethics. So spiritual technologies of becoming that can be retrieved from the wisdom traditions of the world in a form that is ethical from a post-humanist point of view. That is what I will try to address in my course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Debashish. Debashish is a very, very inspiring faculty member. So I'm really, really excited that you're going to have the chance to work with him. Next, I'm going to ask to share with Stefan Lorenz-Sorgner, who is one of those important speakers and philosophers, not only for posthumanism, but also for transhumanism. And this is a posthuman educator course, so you need to know all these nuances. And Stefan has been an amazing leading voice in this field for so many years. So we are so honored to have you, Stefan, with us.
So wonderful seeing you again, Francesco, even though only virtually. Yes, I've been dealing with post-human studies issues for more than 25 years. My name is Stefan Lorenz-Sorgner, and I am currently a philosophy professor in Rome at John Cabot University. And yes, I first came across the issues related to posthumanism, to transhumanism, when Peter Sloterdijk gave a presentation in 1999, and it was entitled "Rules for the Human Zoo," and he basically talked about Plato and Heidegger and Nietzsche, and the implications of gene technology and the possibilities related to gene technologies, and thereby he basically related sort of the great philosophical tradition with contemporary debates relating to gene technologies in particular. And in that context, he actually brought up notions of both posthumanism as well as transhumanism. And as a consequence, there was a response by Habermas a couple of years later in an essay by on liberal eugenics, and basically accusing Sloterdijk of being a transhumanist. And there was a lot of chaos actually with respect to the notions of posthumanism and transhumanism and what is actually what, and there's such a great variety of different approaches, and so it basically delved further into these issues and notions, because I've been dealing a lot, sort of my background is strongly in Nietzschean thinking, but on the other hand, I was also dealing with a lot of applied ethical discourses, and that was basically the possibility to connect these two sides. And then in 2009, I started a Beyond Humanism conference series in Belgrade, and that still continues on an annual basis. A year later, in 2010, on Lesbos, in a wonderful conference, I first met Francesca, and so we directly clicked and got connected, and so we've been, strongly working together and exchanging and building up the various aspects of the entire discourse now for more than 15 years. And so basically, and that's been continuing since then, and step by step. So there was a big book series, and there was then people said, well, it's not properly, proper academic discourse. You first need a journal. And so we started a journal together with Penn State University Press in 2017. And that's also still continuing and flourishing. It's sort of the first double-blind peer-reviewed journal explicitly dedicated to the posthuman and bringing together again sort of the various traditions. And that's always been the future needs a past. So a humanist grounding needs to be acknowledged, needs to be dealt with. So it's open also to humanism, but at the same time dealing with entering into the discourse with transhumanism and into the great varieties of critical posthumanism. And then actually Sang-Yi Shin at Eva University started an entire MA PhD course. So it got further dedicated to posthuman studies. So more and more it's happened. So to further deal with the issues in academia, but it is also important, what Francesca said at the beginning. So it is not just theory, it is theory and praxis. It is that sort of my Nietzschean and hermeneutic grounding. So it's you think, you experience something in the life world, and then you change your understanding, and then your theory changes something, and that is also part of the educating process of entering into a dialogue. And so dialogue is a fundamental aspect of, I think, it's not just one educator and the ones to getting educated. It's a process of resonance. It's a constructive, but there can also be destructive interferences. So it's the aim is to build something, to be constructive, but it doesn't always work out. And at the moment, obviously, for some time, a lot of people have been thinking about and dealing with issues due to the impact of artificial intelligence and clarifying the notions, and people, some are scared that AI is taking over. And this is what I also going to focus on in my section. And a lot of these issues related to AI, and one needs to, in the same way as one needs to distinguish the great, not only transhumanism and critical posthumanism, there's an enormous variety of different transhumanist approaches. There's, it's different if Natasha Vita Moore say something, or some people like Elon Musk, or someone with a more continental grounding, which I'm proposing, and or in the critical posthumanists, they the same sort of issues. So there's a great variety. So Ihab Hazam had a different understanding than, for example, Rosie Braidotti or Catherine Hales. Again, all of these need to be clearly distinguished, and that's part of awareness of the great. There's not one posthumanist. There's a great variety of different approaches, and one needs to have the differences, keep the differences in mind, and so having these things in mind, also coming to the issue of AI, and AI is a lot related to issues related to data, and it's actually sort of a fighting for data, get hold of digital data. And so we will talk about why many people cherish privacy. Why privacy? Does privacy matter? Is it intellectual property? Is it something? Is it how should we deal with digital data? So a lot of issues, actually, all the central issues when it comes to AI have to do, in the end, have to do who has access to the data and how the data processed and used. And so all the great variety of ethical issues related to digital data will be the prime focus of the section I deal with. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Stefan. Of course, you can see how much knowledge and experience Stefan has. And now we're going to go to another professor. I'm also very, very honored to introduce Roberto Marchesini. He actually was the leading voice already when I started to study. He was one of the first people who really focused on this topic many, many years ago. And he's been working on this for, I would say, more than 20 years. He's really one of those, masterpieces of a theory. And he's also the founder of Naturama, which is a posthumanist retreat center in Italy. So I'm also very, very honored to introduce you to Roberto Marchesini.
Thank you, Francesca. I am director of School of Human and Animal Interaction and the Center for Posthuman Philosophy, both situated in Bologna. Over the past 15 years, I have converted 1,700 acres of farmland into an educational park, which called Naturama. This is a practical experience of intense connection with nature and the co-construction of a wild environment has taught me the meaning of a connection. So during my lectures, I will address the topic of philosophical ecology in a posthumanist thought. However, it's not just a matter of developing theoretical discourse on how to apply the concept of ecology to philosophy, but of inaugurating a praxis and a new existential dimension from the human being. The focus of my talk will be on experience, on feeling connected to the world through all dimensions of the body, the senses, the emotion, and the imagination, I believe that one of the relevant aspects of posthumanism is its connective vocation, the projection of reconnecting what Western culture has divided by using dualism as an epistemological operator. There is a clear connection between posthumanist philosophy and a new model for the human being connection-based. A vision that creates a dialogue between the holism of indigenous epistemologies and certain lines of thought in ecosophy. Rediscovering this connection with nature means recovering a broader meaning of humanity that has been hindered by anthropocentrism, just as egocentrism is the greatest obstacle for the growth of the individual. Anthropocentrism is the greatest obstacle to development of humanity for me. We live in a time of transition, and right now we need people who can be messenger of change. It's not just a matter of addressing the ongoing ecological crisis, but also an equally serious anthropological problem. So I think that this journey is a great opportunity for personal growth, but also is the first step towards building a community that recognizes a new way of being a human and is capable of bringing it to all space. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Roberto. You can see how inspiring his work. And again, Roberto has been putting into practice his philosophy by putting his hands in the dirt, transforming a place that was highly contaminated into a beautiful place full of trees and non-human animals and technologies. It's a work of art, what he's been doing with his own life and his projects. So before we go into the new, the next section of amazing faculty that we are so lucky to have, I'm going to take 30 seconds for you to digest everything. Again, it's been so many inputs and, existence and life and genetics, engineering and big data. So let's take like 30 seconds. There is no rush here. I also want to say that the way we are teaching as a faculty, although we all come from academia and we're all teaching at university, is going to be different. We have our guidelines for faculty already posted on our website, and you can see that it's going to be a horizontal model, the idea that we're always learning from each other, and it's not that someone has the truth and the other people are just getting the truth from someone else. We're all co-sharing this experience, sharing, of course, our expertise that, as you see, are pretty deep and ancient. I also want to say that we have an amazing keynote this year. Our faculty guest is going to be Catherine Hayes. She's been, I think, one of the pioneers of the field of posthuman studies. She started already with the big, important book, 1999, How We Became Posthuman. Highly recommended. She's literally a genius. When you will meet her online, you can see that her mind is just like something else. And so we're so proud to have her this year. Every year there's going to be a different keynote, and this year is Catherine Hayes. I also want to say that another amazing philosopher is also giving us her blessing, who is Rosie Braidotti. She knows all about this course, and she's sending us all the best for our endeavor. So told, we are now going to the assistant professors. The assistant professors are also extremely expert and extremely interested in their own work. So they're also going to be kindly sharing also videos for us to delve into their own work. We're going to start with Kuratelin Liaquat, who is a professor who has been focusing on non-Western perspective on the posthuman for many years. She's also the founder of the Pakistani Critical Posthumanist Network. And so it is a great pleasure for us to be working and to be introducing you, Dr. Kuratelin Liaquat.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fernando. I hope you people can hear me. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and welcome everyone. And I am also so honored to join such an esteemed faculty. My journey with posthumanism started back in 2017 when I was starting my PhD research, and I was looking for an innovative theoretical framework to study literature. So I came upon this idea of the posthuman, and I was like, wow, this is wonderful. I started off, I think I dived into it. I read and read and read. But being in Pakistan and having no mentors, and here I would like to highlight the importance of having mentors in your exploratory journey into the posthuman. Uh, why? Because it's still expanding. It's still has so many implications, and you need to find your own niche and your own your own, I think, interpretation of the posthuman as well, because it's a broad, it's a very open sort of field where you have a lot to explore. So don't limit yourself to anything. In my journey into the post-human, I think I have been learning and reading a lot of post-human theorists, but we have never met Dr. Sogner, Stefan, but we have been in touch through Journal of Post-Human Studies. I was just very kind of shaky grounds on the post-human from Pakistan. We didn't have any mentorship over there. And I sent one of my papers to the Journal of Post-Human Studies. And they gave me such constructive feedback and mentorship that I didn't even get my paper published. I'm now, right now I have 2 papers published with Journal of Post-Human Studies, which have helped me immensely to carve out my niche for post-human studies, which is non-Western post-human analysis. I teach English at Pakistani University, Tom Christian College, and I focus on the literary implications or the ways to apply post-humanism as a literary theory on a literary text. But as I continued on my journey, I realized it's not only a very limited sort of framework for literature, but it also helps us in analyzing and studying life at this very important juncture of human history, where AI is taking over. And my focus is mainly non-Western post-humanism, political, cultural, social, ethical side of it, especially weapons. What do they do to underprivileged parts of the world? What is happening? How we need to look at the ethics of the post-human era. And I think my most recent talk at a Pakistani university delved into, and it is very relevant to our course as well, our course of Posthuman Educator, where we discussed that why we need to take post-human shift in our education at liberal arts universities in Pakistan. So I've learned a lot from all the post-human educators here. Then we met, Dr. Ferrando and I met in 2021, again online for a conference. And we started work on Pakistan Post-Human Network. It had been a wonderful journey. I'm still learning. And I think I would be excited to learn more from both my seniors, my colleagues, and the students, who are going to be a part of this journey. Thank you so much. That's all from us.
Thank you so much, Coratelia, and it's such an honor for us to have you part of this incredible event and faculty and vision. So it's also with a great joy and with so much bliss that I am introducing you to Joanna Pascoe. She is a professor in Australia. Her focus is not only gender, but she has this background in a really grounded, beautiful, blessed presence in the world. She works also with posthuman labyrinths. So the idea of experiencing posthuman is not just as a theory, but really as an embodied experience that is transformative. And she's been proposing these beautiful events and labyrinth at different events in posthumanism. The last one was at the Existential Conference, Posthumanist Conference in Mexico. We're going to talk about it later on. And she was also presenting the posthuman labyrinth at different posthuman summer retreats. So it is such a great joy for me to introduce you to Joanna Pascoe.
Thank you, Francesca. It's a joy to be here and welcome everyone and lovely to meet you. I live in Aotearoa and I work at Auckland University of Technology an initial teacher education in the School of Education there. And as Francesca said, I'm very interested in posthuman feminism, posthuman pedagogy, and cyborg stories, and the affirmative ethics of joy. And with Stefano, I've been exploring the labyrinth. So it's been a very exciting time, and getting to meet people from around the world. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. And I'm like taking a hope punk approach as well. For posthuman philosophy acknowledges the life force in all. Thus, as posthuman educators, we can embrace the aliveness, the shimmering quality of human and non-human, welcoming transversal encounters that glow and allow for becoming as a generative force, a deep enchantment with life, and allowing for a posthuman attunement through love, trust, wonder, freedom, courage, hope, peace, and joy. And in the learning module, I hope that we can play with the hope punk notion of radical care and kindness, and welcome the possibility of positive transformation. By noticing the aliveness of the non-human, we will hear something new, the wisdom of a plant, a building, an artifact, as an organic speaking subject, as having something to tell us. We can hear from those who are silenced, human and non-human. Listen to embodied brains and in brain bodies, make meaning together, shifting perspective, critically inquiring and taking hopeful action. Thank you.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Thank you so much, Joanna. And some of you were asking if poems and arts are ways that can be embraced through this course. And when Joanna read that question, she was like, of course, I mean, this is all about finding different ways to express. And I'm so glad, Joanna, that you brought poetry to the conversation, such an ancient way to express that has been a little lost, at least in the Western world. So thank you so much. It is also with great joy and care and excitement that I am introducing you to Rodrigo Esparza Parga, who is a philosopher based in Mexico at the Tecnológico de Monterrey. He was one also of the organizers of the first existential posthumanism conference that we had actually May 2025. It was an amazing event with people coming from different parts of the world. The next event, the next edition is actually going to be in India, at Presidency University in Calcutta, and then after that is going to be in Colombia. So it's like a moving type of conference. So Rodrigo, I am so excited and honored for you to be part of this event. And please, the podium is yours.
Hi, Francesca. Thank you very much. Thanks you for the invitation. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. It's a great pleasure to be here. As Francesca said, I live in Mexico, in Puebla specifically. And my background, my academic background is from the engineering, then I studied philosophy, then I earned a master's degree and PhD degree with a thesis about philosophy of technology. So I've been working, studying posthumanism since 6 years ago. But when I was 22, I was asking myself that we have the necessity to ask for us as human beings. I remember when I was in a class in 1997, when the class finished, the first question I had was, we have to ask, what does it mean to be human being? And then when I was reading one of the Francesca's work, I found the question, what does it mean to be human in 21st century? And then I said, this is for me. So I have been involved in posthumanism, Francesca, and I have been working for a long 4 years almost, or 5. And One of the subjects I would like to share with you in the modules is the notion about technology. Human being is a multidimensional entity. So I think that sometimes we just move into one direction, maybe rationality. But my question is, why don't we explore all of them? We dream, we feel, we experience, we think things, etc. So we have many years thinking that technology is something isolated from human being. So my question is there human being without technology? Ortega said, used to say that being human being is make technology. So if human being has a very different dimensions, how does every specific dimensions impact in technology, and how does technology impact in all of these dimensions, different dimensions? So that's a question on. I would like to focus the module, the specific module I will share with all of you, to question and go in that path. So let's think, let's feel, let's experience. Thank you very much.
Beautiful, Rodrigo. Thank you so much. And I am also such a joy for me to work together with Rodrigo on our modules that is exactly technologies of existence. So it's an expansion of the notion of technology. Think of the blooming of a flower. So according to the Greeks, this was poiesis, and this was an act of technological act, the highest technological act. So we're going to explore this notion of technology much broader than a technical object. There is no such a thing as a technical object. Everything is manifesting and interconnected and correlating and changing each other. Last but not least, actually, the last will be the first ones, and I am beyond joyful and grateful to introduce you all to Stefano Rozzoni, because without Stefano, this course would not be here. He did so much work together to manifest and envision this course. Stefano is also one of the co-directors of the Global Posthuman Network. He's also one of the founders of the Italian Posthuman Network. He's been so active, such a real roots for all these projects that are coming up through this network. So without Stefano, a lot of the project that we have been all sharing would not be here. And not only that, he's an amazing mind. He's doing postdoc. Everyone wants him, or this university. He's a bright mind, super kind person, such a generous spirit. So with all said, Stefano, please take the podium.
Francesca, it's too kind. But yes, I think I'm very, very happy to be here. Really, to feel the energy, to feel a wonderful list of names from all over the world, and many of them had the chance to meet in person, somebody online. And I think it's about community making. And when you, like me, experience so much beauty in my own educational path in posthumanism, which I started and I get into from literature, the power of story, not only to inform, but to transform the performativity of stories. And we need so much of performativity and materiality and theory in practice today to respond to these, challenges of the present day world, so many in economics and politics and kind of anywhere. But posthumanism gave me this energy to respond affirmatively to these issues and to really do it together in the diversities that we are. And so I'm much more and more energized when, yes, maybe dedicate some time to the newsletter, to creating the platform. But at the end of the day, I gave back from, I think, all of you, not only the wonderful people in this faculty, but the protagonists of this course, which are the people who eventually ended up participating if they can. And yes, I think this is enough, and I'm looking forward to continue the conversation and learn from the wonderful projects and the wonderful ideas of the wonderful people, literally, which are connected today from literally all over the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stefano. Actually, from here, since Stefano and I and Roberto and Joanna and everyone, Rodrigo, have been working so hard on the website, what we're going to do, we're going to transition, take maybe 5 minutes to navigate our website, make sure that everyone feels safe and clear navigating the website, because I think a lot of the information that is there would probably answer a lot of the questions that we have got. I also want to take 30 seconds to, again, digest all these amazing insights that came from our assistant professors. So let's take maybe 30 seconds to just, you can also check through the chat. There have been a lot of beautiful questions and insights from all the participants today. 30 seconds. Drink some water or tea if you need. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take around probably 5 to maximum 8 minutes to go through the website, make sure that everyone knows where is the information that you might need. I also want to share all the amazing countries that the participants who have been applying from. So that's very interesting. It says a lot about our post-humanist community, and really it says a lot about post-dualism and beyond all these wars and hate and anger that it is happening in this world right now, with so much separation and violence, and we do not support that in any way. And we think that all lives matters, and Black Lives Matter and White Lives Matter, and Christian and Muslims, and you know, like what's happening is something that we need to address by bringing the community together and have it in an affirmative way, as Stefano was saying. So I want to share briefly the people that have been applying, the places where they're from. I think it says a lot about the community. So just going to show briefly that, and then we're going to go into our website. So we have from Asia, India, Pakistan, Japan, Iran, Philippines, Turkey. From Africa, Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Nigeria. From Europe, Spain, United Kingdom, Germany, Romania, Italy, France, Ireland, Denmark. From North America, United States, Canada, South America, Argentina, and then this was not updated, it was 1 week ago, and then Australia. So I wanted to share this just to show how the post-human community is not just coming from one background or one country or one language. And I think that this, again, was not updated. Now we had like other countries to be listed, but just give you an idea of the openness of the community. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go into this brief journey through our course. And we can, if you have any specific question about the course, please do not hesitate to also add them to the chat. We will also do our best to address most of the questions that you already placed through your submission when you connected for this specific event. So first of all, I want to say that this course comes from at least like 5 years of envisioning, working. It's been a beautiful, slow, long process. So it's not all of a sudden we thought of this. It took a lot of time to make this happen, and we're so proud of this. I also want to say that it is not conceived as a traditional academic type of course. The idea is not just getting a degree. The degree is there. You might use it or not. It's up to you. But it is a transformative event in your life, in your work experience. So it is a way to reshift your career, your everyday habits in a way that is supported by theory, by practice, by knowledge, and by a community that is ongoing. So there are not truths that are already written. You can always go back to your own religion or philosophies. This is not something that excludes you from what you had. It's an enrichment. It's a way to maybe refine an intention. So it's a post. It's not an anti. It's not against. It's not a new. It's something that you add to everything that you already have. So there is nothing you need to change. It's a way to reshape and maybe to give an intention to already your ideas, the way you were, you know, your beliefs. So there's nothing you need to leave beyond to embrace this. Nothing like that. It is a way to a different perspective, a new way of intention. So this gives a lot of peace. There is no dual front separation or nothing like that. So we also want to say that it is, we want to have a very curated experience. So we wanted to have a small classroom. So our cap at the moment is 25 people. So we already have reached halfway our cap. We are going to accept all the application until August 16. After that is going to be first come, first served. So I would say that if you know that you're very interested in this, make sure to send your application, because it is not unlimited. We're not going to have hundreds of people who are going to be accepted. It's only 25, because we want to make sure that we get to know each other, that it's a smaller environments where you really have a community to support you. It's not just a name, you know, like of hundreds. No, you are known. It's you. It's who you are. There is, you know, nothing that you need to change. You're perfect the way you are. And that as a community, we're going to shape our intentions, our projects. We're going to polish that. So again, we're already halfway there for people who already applied. If you know that you want to do it, I would highly recommend to send your submission as soon as possible by August 16. There are two benefits. First of all, your application is going to be processed, and second, you're going to get also an early bird if you are going for the fee. And there are also scholarship and on August 16. If you're not ready, that's totally fine. But after that, it will be literally chronological, who first come, first served, as much as they have, you know, like the knowledge and the quality of the project. So there is no rush. But again, if you know you want to apply, make sure to apply. All right, so it is a collaboration of different entities that are listed here. It is all online. I thought there was some confusion on that. All the courses online. There are two options. Is either live in person. You can also take it asynchronously. We would really recommend you to take it live. On top of our live meetings online, there are going to be in-person events in different locations. For instance, we know already that we have the second edition of the Posthumanist Conference in India, a Presidency University in Calcutta, that is also a very prestigious university. So if you are, you know, if you wanted to add to your CV, that's a very good experience to add. There are going to be also events in Italy, already mapped. One is at the University of Turin in November. So there are going to be different events. You don't have to come to the in-person events, although if you can, it would be amazing to meet in person. But if you cannot come in person, that we recommend for you to find something local that you can attend and connect with people that maybe don't label themselves as posthuman, but they have a very posthuman approach. It can be something about ecology, or something about technology, or something about, you know, different way of living. So you would submit us the proposal, and most likely it would be accepted. So the idea of connecting also in person with people. But again, the whole course is online. So I know that there was some confusion on that. So this is the home. There are going to be one-on-one mentorship during collective open office hours, where there are faculty members. There are also the groups of people that you are going to be connected with, giving you feedback on your project. The idea is almost like, think of yourself in a garden, yourself as a plant growing, and we want to nourish the plant. We want to nourish you as a person, as a posthuman educator. We want to nourish your project, but we also want to nourish your community, so that you're never alone, but you will never feel alone, and that you know that you are together with other people in your project the way you are. So you don't need to comply to be the same as others. You don't need to dress in a specific way, or eat a specific diet, or have a specific credo to be a posthuman. But you are connected. Your roots are connected. So you have this constant nourishing from the presence of others. So this is the idea. And so the idea of crafting your own legacy. So after this, you are going to have your own project that we will help sharing through media platforms, events, and really having an impact on our planet. So faculty, you met everyone apart from Catherine Hayes, who is for this year, she's our keynote. Every year is different, but we thought that starting with one of the people who actually started the whole field was very special. So she is our faculty member. If you scroll down, you're going to find also there some welcome videos from all the faculty and also faculty guidelines. So if you are unsure the way it's going to be taught, you're going to find it here. Course overview is very specific, has all the dates that you need. So it's also say, to secure your spot because we're already halfway there. It has all the dates, times, who is going to be teaching what, open circles. So you're also going to be connected with a small group of participants. So it's going to be almost like, the Russian dolls, a doll within a doll within a doll. So you're going to be as individual connected to a small group that's going to be your group that you'll be working with. And there's going to be a bigger group that is going to be the opening circles that you're going to have every couple of months with everyone. And then we have, of course, all the ceremonies, the modules. These are all going to be live. So every time there's going to be work ahead that you always can connect to your work, always can connect to the mentors. And so here is everything is very, very detailed. You're going to find dates and everything very, very specific. Events, there are going to be many more added here. Also, if you have proposals, if you are organizing an event connected to posthumanism, let me know. And we're going to add this as an ongoing process of events that are flourishing like flowers on our big garden. Eligibility and materials, this is more for everyone. This is like what is required before you have access to the course, which is just basic idea that we don't want you to come with not having no knowledge about posthumanism. This is not for complete beginners. We want to have a general understanding. So this is some of the material you're going to be required to have access before we start the course. And this is some suggested readings. You don't have to read these books, but this is just a good map. Also, most of it are also people who are connected to our course. So it will be nice for you to be able to ask specific questions from the authors that you're actually going to be studying with. And also, most of the material is going to be sent online to the participants. So you're going to have access to specific chapters, videos, that is going to be for participants only. Applications and fees. So basically the idea is, I know that actually all of us, especially I'm talking about the faculty, all of us have been doing a lot of volunteer work in the posthuman field for many, many years. All these, Global Posthuman Network, Pakistan Posthuman Network, Indian Posthuman Network, Italia, these are all volunteer work. None of these people are being paid. Also, I think a lot of us are giving a lot of keynote speech and lectures for free. So this is all when we know that this is beyond, a job. This is what we do as our passion, as our life. We also know that there is a lot of misunderstanding about intellectual work, that, like it's something that is being taken for granted. I think a lot of you get a lot of requests. Oh, can you do this for free? Can you do this? And we believe that intellectual work is work. There is a lot of precarity, a lot of people who actually, after getting their master's degree or even, PhDs, they do not get a job, or if they get a job, it's really low paid. So we believe that intellectual work is work and should be recognized as such. So the idea of the academy is also bringing that honor, that dignity to intellectual work. And so we have shared a little bit of our idea that we recognize intellectual labor as labor. We reject job precarity in all of its forms, including those affecting intellectual and creative work. We are committed to ensuring that the time, effort, and contribution of everyone involved are properly acknowledged and valued. So on one side, we want to make sure that this was not a volunteer job. It was like recognized as and dignified as actually work. On the other side, we know that there is a lot of disparity in this world, not only to nations, but within the same nations. Some maybe people come from nations that are considered, like rich, but they themselves maybe have no access to financial means. So we thought a lot about it. Actually, we took months to trying to find an ethical and equitable model. So we came with this model that we hope that can really be helpful for everyone. So it is an ethical fees. So you actually pay what you feel you can pay. The actual cost of delivering the course is estimated at €950, but we know that not everyone can access that money. So we have application deadlines. First of all, we have early bird options where people can contribute less than that. We have late bird options where it's still less, but it's a little higher than that. And then we also have scholarships. That is, one is a full scholarship for free, and then we have partial scholarships. And the deadline for scholarship is August 16. So we hope that we were inclusive and comprehensive in this equitable model. And then last but not least, what is that you get from this course? You not only get an experiential, lived, embodied experience. So we want this course not to be just one more degree that you add, or although it's going to be also a certification, but we want this model to be something that is going to shift, that help you craft your own vision in life, of your own education, of your own work, of your own time in this planet, which is very precious. It's not easy to be here. Some people are dying right now. Think of all the virus that is happening. So what are we doing with our life right now? And we want to go from the inner to the outer, from the micro to the macro in this transformative journey that is a reflective mirror. So this I want to underline. I know that some of you are not interested in working with this and are doing for your own life, and that's absolutely fine. I know that some of you are also trying to use this also for their own career, and that's also absolutely fine. So what about those people? So this is a journey to help you design and implement innovative post-human-centered curricula that can work for university, schools, museums, organizations, and other formal and informal learning environments. It can facilitate intercultural and interspecies dialogue that is so important these days. Think of an educator also as a mediator. And at first we're thinking actually of using this term mediator. Then we thought educator was a little broader. But this is the idea in this time that everything is so fragmented, everyone is dualizing each other and think they're better than others. So, people are killing each other, violating each other. We need people who can know how to mediate, how to bridge. This is the most precious gift that we can actually offer educators in 2025. And then, of course, is integrating post-human pedagogies in our own life, creating a global network that you can use in your own CV. So you can add this, of course, certification, although it is not officially accredited yet, it's something that you can use to add to your own CV. Add also the name of the faculty. Most of these people are very well known, and a lot of people who work in post-human is known their names. So you can always add, studied with, add any of the names you feel more of a connection with. You can also add all the names. So that really helps, and I can tell you from experience. Also, you can present this course to your institution, to your school organization, and this is often accredited as continued professional development. And of course, you can apply to your own teaching, your own life, your own research projects. So the idea is enriching your own life with meaningful work that is also enriching your work. And then is any way to contact, any questions, you can always go ahead and ask us any question through our email. So I hope that I shared everything with us. I hope that you feel comfortable navigating the course. I would only underline one more time deadlines. So early birds and application for scholarship are due next Saturday, so you have 1 week. Also, we are halfway there to complete our 25 spots. After that, you're going to be placed on a waiting list, and we will have most likely the same course 1 year from now. So I would say that if you already know that you want to apply, just do it this week to make sure that you secure your spot. So I think I talked a lot. I want to take maybe 30 seconds for everyone to digest. If you want to go and take these 30 seconds to navigate a little the course, maybe Stefan, if you don't mind posting the link to our course on our chat, while we'll take 30 seconds to digest, breathe, and really take in all this information. I would also invite anyone who has a very clear question that has not been addressed yet to maybe post it on our chat. We hope that we address a lot of the questions that you have so kindly shared. But if we have not, please, there is something very specific, post it now, because after this, we're going to go into a Zoom activity. But I would like to maybe address a couple of questions through the faculty, with the faculty, before we go into a short and exciting activity we want to have everyone involved. So let's take maybe a couple of minutes. If it's something very clear that you want to ask that is not been addressed yet, please feel free now before we go into Zoom activity where you're going to meet other participants. We're going to hear your voice and we're going to hear your insights. So maybe a couple of minutes. If there's anything that is unclear, please feel free to post it. Otherwise, you can take one more minute to breathe in and check the website. Well, it gives me a lot of joy that it looks like we were clear enough that maybe a lot of the questions that you were so kind to post were clarified through the presentations. You have still time, and we're going to have still time at the end of the conversation for Q&A. But if everyone is good and at peace, yes, let's check maybe just to confirm. Yeah, beautiful, Thomas, thanks for asking. Thomas is asking about the language, if it is going to be done in English. So most of the classes are going to be done in English. I know that some people were asking about Spanish. We have faculty speaking Spanish, so we definitely can have mentorship in Spanish, for sure. We do have probably the online events and the videos in English. So although we can offer mentorship in Spanish, the course mostly is going to be in English. There are ways to translate through AI, so we could maybe explore that option, but I would say that if you really don't have much familiarity with English, it would something that you maybe want to write as an email and address more clearly. What do you think, Stefano, and maybe also Rodrigo, about this? The language.
Yeah, I think we have discussed the importance of maybe English as a lingua franca, keeping in mind the diversity. But yeah, maybe for, as you said, some mentorship can be done in different languages. But maybe for specific indications, they can contact us through email. And as you say, we will use platforms such as this one for video. So I know that there's possibility to create subtitles in case, but maybe a more direct conversation by email would be more useful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely. Thomas, if we have answered your question, if you want to give us a little reaction, we go to the next one. If there is something still unclear, Thomas, please feel free to write in the chat. In the moment, we go to Muhammad, who is asking, please guide us on building a project proposal for this course. I was waiting for this session to get some insights on it and build a proposal that can help me win the scholarship. Muhammad, thank you so much. It's a very important point. You're right. So what is the project? So the idea is that we don't want this to be just a classic certification course in which you study, you delve yourself into all this theory, and then you still remember 20% 1 year later, you remember 5% 2 years later, remember 1% 3 years later, and then it's gone. It's still going to be your CV, but everything is gone. This is a little different. We want to make sure that this course is going to have an impact in what you are already interested in. So some of you, we already have a lot of people who sent us their application. I'll give you some example. For instance, a person who is sending an application, they have started a Posthuman press, and they want to develop more Posthuman projects to develop their own press. Another one is, for instance, someone who wants Posthuman to have more of an impact on their own lives, and they want to develop more of a, daily discipline. Another one is writing a book, and they want guidance on what a Posthuman novel would be like. Another one is interested in poetry as having an impact on our, collective consciousness. Another project is, for instance, politics, and all these dualistic way of thinking that are right now creating so much violence and war in the world. So how can we create different models that can help us as a humanity go beyond this way of using, for instance, war and violence to kill each other and trying to win? There is no winner in any war. These are just some examples. But I would say, Mohammed, that something that really interests, something that is, if you have no idea for a project, I would say something that you would do no matter what. Beyond any work, beyond anything that is expected from you, from your family or from your faculty? What is that it is that really motivates you in your life? Start from that. And then from there, you are going to apply posthumanism. And posthumanism is so broad that you can think of, humanity as so diversity can be one, or maybe the non-human and all that goes through the planet and technologies, or for instance, post-dualism. So I would say, Muhammad, start with something that it's something that it moves you, that you could not that you cannot leave behind. That's something that motivates you. That if I would say, what is that you're interested in? It can be anything. For it can be even video games. You tell me, I love video games. Great, starts from that. What about a video game that can bring posthuman scenarios into the game? So I would say, start with you. Don't start with something that's outside of you. Start from you and then go to the macro. I would say those are the kind of project that we are looking for. So we're not looking for a project that is sterile, that you are just writing, to because maybe someone expects that to be a good project. No. Start with you. Start something that motivates you, because if it motivates you, it's going to motivate us. And I'm sure that other people, maybe Debashish or Stefan or Kuratelian, Joanna, Stefano, Roberto, Rodrigo, anyone else who want to add about the project? This is a very important question.
Yes, Francesca, if may I would like to say or bring to the moment all the things that I said before, in the sense that we are human beings and we are multidimensional. And one of those dimensional art is the way of art. So I think that we can explore all those dimensions as human beings we are. So I think that they have to keep in mind that idea and don't close or be so structured to don't go beyond. So that's the thing I would add. Thank you.
Beautiful, Rodrigo. And also see that Muhammad added a beautiful note. He's saying, I wanted to build an immersive posthuman educational space for the posthuman children of the Global South. This is so beautiful, Muhammad. And maybe we'll say, maybe Debashish and Kuratilian, if you want to add something to help Muhammad shape his project, it would be probably helpful. Either one, you can start Debashish or Kuratilian.
Maybe Dr. Debashish can start it, and I can add.
Kuratilian, please go ahead, because I think you have more experience in this area.
I definitely do not have more experience than you. But since I've stumbled upon so many ideas and I've experimented with so many dimensions of the field of the post-human, I feel, as Dr. Ferrando and Rodrigo have already mentioned, the opportunities are unlimited. There are so many ways you people can start thinking about your post-human projects. And especially if you people are talking about the Global South. One of the many ways to think about your post-human projects might not only be limited to the creative arts or literature. You people can think along the lines of political post-humanism. This is capturing my attention like anything. You can think in terms of AI, how it is having an impact on the global politics and politics of South Asia. You can also think along the lines of how the politics and the equality, the ideas of equality are changing as in relation to the North and South. You can also talk about cultural posthumanism. I specifically work with how machines are changing our everyday lives. So you can also think along the lines of how a simple phone, and read Andy Clark and his ideas on posthumanism and cyborg. He believes we all are posthumans and cyborgs. Even if you're using a mobile phone, you are a cyborg. As right now, we're sitting here talking to each other, we are cyborgs and posthumans. So perhaps in the global south, we have been thinking along these lines that we are not yet post-human. But trust me, we are all post-humans. And the idea of a post-human project can not only arise from the Western insights into the field of post-humanism, but also the Eastern insights and the global Southern insights into post-humanism, as Dr. Debashish and Dr. Ferrando has already worked on spiritual traditions of the East, how the consciousness, spirituality, especially in relation to the Buddhist tradition, Sufi tradition from the global South, and the religious and also ethical practices in the global South, talking about the poetry of Rumi or Umar Khayyam, otherworldly, other conscious, the experiences out of consciousness, unconscious, subconscious experiences related to the field of psychology. You people can also work along those lines. The opportunities are unlimited. They are so many. You can think of them from the fields of natural sciences, computer sciences, social sciences, humanities, religious studies, mass communication. Just focus and find your own niche, I would suggest. As we have already been talking about, making it open-ended and exploratory rather than restricting it to let's lecture you into something. Think and find your own niche. That's the best way to think about your project, and then you can come back when the course starts and discuss your ideas with us and let us help you, not kind of dictate you into it. Let us help you to further develop your unique, innovative, and a project which is distinctly post-human in your own individual way. That's my idea of a post-human project.
So beautiful, Gratilian. And maybe Debashish wants to add something. I also want to say that Alina is saying, feeling pretty self-conscious given the project examples that have been brought up. I think mine was pretty lame and unenlightened. So Alina, don't worry at all about it. So the idea is exactly this. You are going to put a seed, and then through our course, the seed is going to be nourished so that the plant come out. So you don't need to have a very clear, super detailed project at the moment. We do want you to develop your own project, yes, because this is not a classical theory course in which you just learn and then boom, you move on. No. This is actually helping you to shape your own vision and insights and dreams. You can think big and dream big, but don't worry at this stage. We do want you to develop a project though. Yes, that is the requirement also to get a certification, because again, it is not a classical traditional course in which you just need the knowledge. This is again, it's like through your own embodiment in life and visions and work. But it doesn't have to be developed, otherwise you would not be here. If the project was already developed, that's not the kind of project that it's, I mean, some people have a very developed project and they want to keep refining that. For instance, there is a Japanese posthumanist who is going to attend the course, and she has a whole platform and she wants to grow that platform, and that's fine too. So that's a very developed project. Also, the Posthuman Press is very developed in Australia and other participants, but they don't have, doesn't have to be like that. Other people are more like open, and say like, this is what I'm thinking about developing. This is why you have an amazing faculty to help you develop your project. Now, if you already have a project developed, fine, we're going to help you, expand it. Also happening and working, but you don't need to have at this stage a clear, super detailed project. You can have a vague, open project that you're going to be nourishing. Alina, has this clarified your question? If you don't mind putting it in, also we know that you feel good. We don't want you to feel overwhelmed. That's not the idea. But we do want to have a seed, something that can help opening up. And I'm going to another question. Doa. Okay. Doa Manaf is asking, thank you so much for the inspiring ideas you have shared so far. I'm curious, could you share one practical example here, the posthuman in teaching connected to human learners with more than human world in a way that truly changed the perspective? That's beautiful, Doa. I can maybe share something, but I don't want to talk so much. But, I can give you, for example, these are going to be a lot of different exercises that you're going to be taking to the faculty. I can give you, for instance, an example of some of the exercises that we've been done at different events. I'm thinking, for instance, when we had the Posthuman Summer Retreat 2 years ago in Naturama, we had, for instance, silent walks in the forest where you're really connecting to non-human elements, and then you have to describe an element so that everyone can search in the forest what is the element you connected to. I think, another example of an exercise that, for instance, I do with my students about intentional technologies, and I ask them, for instance, to just connect to the internet the way they would normally do, and then start to focus on their own body. How do they feel? How is their breathing? And then the second time to do an intentional connection. And all of a sudden now you are writing an email, but you are aware that you are connecting and that you're not just using technology or your email, but the email is actually transforming people's life. This email is actually educating algorithms. So I'm just giving you a couple of examples that I've been using, but if maybe Debashish or Stefan or Joanna, maybe Joanna want to talk about the labyrinth, or Stefan, there are other examples maybe that we want to share. This is a good time to help Doa understand maybe some of other exercises. Maybe Joanna, Debashish. Yes,
Well,
Joanna,
actually, when I was in Naturama a couple of years ago, a very inspiring space, we were talking about the labyrinth, and at the end of the camp, Stefano and I went away thinking we're going to do something with the labyrinth, and we worked on this project and brought it to life. And actually, some of the people on our call here today experienced it again in Italy last year. So it's been a wonderful journey to realize a project that it comes out of theory, comes out of discussions with people who also have a similar way of thinking, and then you get to try it as an embodied experience, and it has a lasting effect. It hasn't gone away. It's still with us today. Isn't that right, Stefano, that we're still thinking it through? I'll put the website about it in the chat, and it's very inspiring, and it's to be shared. It's to grow. It's not just a one-off event. It's ongoing. So it's still alive, this project.
I agree with Joanna. I believe the most important aspect is the educational one. Educational as experience of connection. The Posthuman project for me can help us better understand our relationship with the technology and the biosphere. And this also creates a better relationship between cultures and between human beings. So this is the experience of opening. Thank
you so much, Robert. And if you want to maybe share 1 more minute about your, your bringing an idea into praxis and transforming a polluted area. So Italy is beautiful, and there are some areas that are, also being contaminated. And Roberto started this project where he really transformed the land. So if you want to maybe give 1 more minute about the actual project, like this was a project that came out of an idea, and how was that, to envision that and planting the plants and actually having a Posthuman school. If you want to maybe share 1 minute about a project that actually was manifested. Yes, Naturama is a plane, but is a co-construction because the plants show me how construction the park is not the man that benefited the whole park, but there is an interaction with the animals, insect, bird, tree, and this a form of co-construction. And I think that posthumanism is the
to accept the co-construction, the human being with nature, with technology, with the biosphere, and to open the contribution of the others.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And before we go to the other question, I have one more thing I would like to Stefan to share, because I remember some years ago, I watched one of his enlightening videos, and he was asking him such a good question, which I think is very good as an exercise about genetic privacy. Do you mind, Stefan, sharing the idea that, what is genetic privacy also connected to our own family? And that's a very interesting idea also about privacy in our genetic, like what our DNA. So if you don't mind, remember the video that you were sharing, that question, whatever someone shares.
Yeah, no, normally one should sort of, so many people, 15 million people have been using, for example, genetic analysis with it was 23andMe has got like more than 50 million customers, and they've analyzed their DNA, and they've a lot of experience, a lot of information comes out, sort of how you react to certain diseases, some qualities you have, how you react to certain drugs. Some diseases are actually caused just by one gene, others in other cases you get a certain probability. So there's a lot of, information actually within such an analysis. Some are certain, others are only guarantee a certain likelihood of having some insights. And the question is sort of who's got the ownership of this information concerning the information of your own gene analysis. And one could say, so one of the initial thoughts is, if one self has got the ownership concerning this information. And then the question, if that's the case, shouldn't you have the right to share the information, in order to promote scientific information, in order to promote scientific research in that field? No, it's information about you. Shouldn't you have the right to share that with everyone else? And most people would say, yeah, obviously, this is me. I'm the one. If someone decides to do that should be perfectly fine. But then, on the other hand, one must bear in mind that the entire information which you're revealing is actually is shared with your parents, with your siblings. And basically, they might not be interested in having that information revealed to other people. Maybe if the information says you've got a high chance of breast cancer, you want to share that information in order to promote scientific research, but like maybe your sister wants to get another job, applies for health insurance, and sort of the people find out, well, it's someone's sister, you've got a high chance of breast cancer, and as a consequence, you might not get the job, you might not be able to take out a health insurance. So and that sort of here, sort of who's got the right to do so? It's a really tricky question, because genetically, the genes which make up our specific personality are very few. We're sharing 50% of our genes with bananas, and more than in between 1998, 99% with the great apes, depending on the study. And that actually shows our connectedness with the world very strongly. So, but then we need to think about practical issues concerning how to deal with basically who's got the ownership, who owns the right, who's got the right to make decisions concerning such a gene analysis. And that's just one very specific example, but it has a lot of practical implications, and it shows our connectedness with all the other species in the world.
So beautiful and so well said. Thank you so much, Stefan. So these are just some examples of where you can implement this knowledge into exercises. We're also going to work with your own life. So for instance, in my modules, I'm going to ask you to develop exercises in your own daily routine. So these are just many, many ideas, but it goes from the daily practice to big, questions like, what about genetic privacy? And, what if I share my own genetic information and in relation to my family? What about them? So there's going to be so many possibilities that really amplify the magnitude of the possibility of the posthuman educator. Before we go into Patricia's question, I want to have addressing Brinda, so that Debashish can give a little answer to that, and then we go to Patricia, and after that, if everything has been clarified, we will have 10 more minutes for an activity. Of course, you can always feel free to leave if you don't have time, but it's going to be very nice to also hear your insights and meet some of the people who may be part of this course. So Brinda, hi, could Debashish and Francesca share their perspectives on the spiritual aspects of posthumanism drawing from Eastern philosophical traditions? I'm curious about the potential synergies and tensions between these two areas of thought. And who better than Debashish could be publishing pretty much his own life about this specific topic. So Debashish, you are the perfect person to answer on this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your question, Brinda. So as I see it, I mean, this is a very vast question. It can be answered in many ways. But one of the major things is that our sense of who we are is also constrained by what we believe. So our normal understanding of humanism gives us a certain definition of who we are and what's possible to know, what's possible to be, etc. And we don't need to believe it. And that's where the spiritual traditions come in, which have, in a sense, been subjugated and excluded from our modern humanist understanding of ourselves. And so where I see, for example, I would like to piggyback on the example that Roberto gave about the way in which he constructed Naturama with the plants. That's not just a metaphor. It's a actual relationship. And that relationship means that, the assumption of that is that we can actually communicate with plants. The plants do communicate with us. And it requires a different kind of belief in ourselves and a different kind of openness. I feel that the spiritual traditions of the world have given us archives of practices, of ways of becoming, of transforming ourselves, where we can actually open to the things that we felt are bottled up outside us. See? That we can become other, that we can become cosmic, for example, or we can come into deep relationality with those that are around us, with plants, with animals. And so that kind of use or service that the spiritual traditions can give us is, I feel, what interests me in posthumanism.
So beautiful and so well said. And we highly, highly recommend everyone to delve into all traditions, definitely not just the one that have already been explored, but as Debashish will say, all wisdom tradition of the world have brought us to the kind of same posthuman understanding. So please feel free, not only feel free, but we really encourage you to delve into traditions that maybe have not been explored yet. And all of these traditions are precious and give a richness to the debate. I would also want to share one more insight. Sorry, Patricia, but you're going to be next. From Giacomo, who is actually based in Auroville. And we're actually going to have also a posthuman retreat in Auroville in January, before the event in Calcutta. So these are two separate events. You can come to both of them, to neither of them, to one of them. But there is going to be also a posthuman retreat in Auroville that is going to be connected to posthuman archetypes. And it's going to be really exciting. So we're also so excited, Giacomo, that you are actually today with us. Giacomo is also an incredible thinker, and he works with embodiments, and he'll be writing a lot of books. And so Giacomo says, I would love to create a workshop in Auroville, open to all posthuman contributions and contributors, to unfold the posthuman, especially post-dualistic aspects of Auroville as a community project, laboratory, and integral yoga as technology of becoming. And Giacomo, this is absolutely perfect. It's a perfect example of a project, exactly, a lab, and it doesn't have to be done also through theory, you know, that you work a lot with embodiments and, you know, martial disciplines, and that's really a beautiful way to unfold this knowledge. So Giacomo is incredible. By the way, if you actually do join the course and you develop this lab, when we have the retreat in January, there will be a perfect place to maybe actually, you know, bring the lab to life and test it with us coming to you. So Giacomo, I am so excited, and I don't know if anyone else wants to share some, maybe the Bashish, about Giacomo's idea. What do you think?
It's wonderful. It's a wonderful idea. Giacomo is an old friend of mine. We've worked together, and I really look forward to the camp at Oroville. Again, I was at the camp at Naturama last year, and Oroville is so synergistic, because that's exactly another space that has been created through co-creation with nature and with culture, in the sense that there is no distinction between the two. And again, it's really an opening to the other and a co-creation of a new kind of planetary becoming.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm going to read Patricia's. Thank you so much for having been so patient. And I'm going to also ask maybe eventually Stefan to answer to this question, maybe Joanna. So Patricia, so she's asking about the one-on-one mentorship. It's very good that you're asking, because we have been addressing, but not deeply. So this is a good time to really deep. What does it mean, this mentorship? So she at first was asking what it is, and then she says, I found the answer. So she has posted what is written in the website, which we can read. Each participant will have access to open office hours with the assistant professors, during which personalized feedback on their project will be provided. Then there are the name of the assistant professor, and then it says there are 3 open office hours, each lasting approximately 2 hours. Each participant will have about 15 minutes to share during each session. And now, and she says, but now I ask myself, if that is enough time to get into the projects? Beautiful and important. Yeah, so Patricia, the idea is that it's an ongoing process. So for instance, from day one, so by the first time, before even the introduction, we're going to have a ceremony, sharing circle, where you're going to meet everyone, and you're going to find yourself in a group. So there are going to be 25 participants, so probably it's going to be 4 to maximum 5 people each group. So you're already from day one, you are going to have a group that you are going to, we are going to try to match a little bit the topics. So you're going to find people that are working on similar topics with you. So you already have a group that you're going to be connected with, that you're going to already have a dialogue with. So from day one, so your project starts, once you send the application, you planted your seed. So once your application is accepted, if there is quality, if you do it online by, you know, in time, it's going to be accepted. We're going to have an inclusive way of accepting application. You need to have quality and just do it on time. So once the application accepted, that's your project starts. So September, you're going to have your group already. So you're not only going to have these 3 collective meetings with mentors, but you're also going to have collective shares with all the group of participants. There are, I believe Stefano can say more on that, but I think there are 3 or 4 of that, and there can be more. So you're going to have not only a small group that you're going to be working with to help you. These are all people who are already intermediate, advanced in posthumanism. So there is no one who is a beginner. That's not the course. So if you're fully beginner, you never heard of this is not the course. Okay, so you're going to have people who already are working on this, already helping you with this. So, you know, again, the matryoshka, the little dolls within the dolls. Then you have mentors that are going to be there every month with collective meetings to assist you. The reason why we had done collectively is that we thought there is so much richness in having not only one person helping you, but 25 people that are, you know, the participant that can be there. And also you have now 4 assistant professors, and maybe also some of the faculty is going to join. This is, now you have like 8 eyes helping you, 8 brains, 8 bodies, 8 knowledges coming to you. So we did it collectively because we thought that instead of just having one mentor, that you might have a connection, specific connection, but you're going to have more mentors giving you insights. So on top of that, you also have the modules. During the modules, we're going to have, you know, one part is more a little theory, but then you have like a full hour where people are going to can have the chance to ask specific questions connected to their own projects. So again, it's a process that is going to help you shaping until January. January is only dedicated to your projects. There are not going to be any more events that are going to be optional, so you don't have to come. But the second part of January is just for your project you really finish shaping it, and it's only going to be a collective meeting for your project to really refine it. And then you're going to have the final ceremony where you're going to present your projects. So think of that as not just through your mentorship that you're going to develop your project, but from day one. By the time you develop your application, again, if you send it, that is quality, and you send it on time, consider yourself already accepted. If it's after 16, it depends if there is going to be spot available. Otherwise, you're going to be on a waiting list. But it is that I start working on it, even apart from our projects, our work. Like, think of that as a project that you are starting curating right now. And I should, Stefan, also want to say something more about the mentorship project.
Yeah, I think you covered most of it, but the idea is to provide a support by different eyes and to allow your own development with your own vision, and you are the protagonist of your own idea. And I think that, yes, it's not, maybe it doesn't look like a huge amount of time, but when there are very specific feedback addressed with quality and thought through, and of course materials can also be sent in advance at any time, I think it's very effective also for developing your own project. So we thought of different options, and we believe that this is particularly effective because we also have experienced similar situations in other contexts. So I trust that it will be particularly effective, and this will be also open office hours, so accessible also by the other participants to the course. And there is a lot of learning in seeing the actual activity of making comments, feedbacks, and facilitate the process of growing the little plan that Francesco was talking about.
Exactly. Patricia, is there going to be a group or a way of an ongoing communication between the participants? Exactly, Patricia. So think of these events when you're actually meeting on the one-on-one mentorship as the acme, as the point of the mountains. So that's exactly the idea. So from day one, you're going to be connecting not only to all the participants. For this reason, we are keeping to a cap of 25 people. We don't want to have a huge amount of people. We want a small crafted group that can really work with each other. But still, 25 people is still a lot. So we're going to have everyone placed in a smaller group, 4 to 5 people from day one. So you will have a small group that you are helping each other. From day one, you can connect to different ways. It's up to the group to develop their own strategies. We're going to ask each group to develop and to share with us how you're going to connect. It can be through WhatsApp, weekly meetings. It has to be done also in a free way that if not everyone can meet weekly, it's okay. But there is going to be the support from day one. So the idea, think so much not from the mentors giving you insights and the enlightenment, but from the knowledge coming from, from as this plant is growing, it's almost like this mentorship are like, a little fertilizing. Okay, a little more of, but the plant is already growing. So the idea is that like you are working on this, not just, once you meet the mentor, you get like ideas, you are working on this. And when you have meet the mentor, you're getting feedback where you're at. So it's an ongoing process. And so Debashish has to leave. Thank you so much. Debashish is also sharing kindly his email. It's so great to see you, Debashish. Thank you so much for sharing your presence, your knowledge, your blessed and enlightened wisdom. Thank you so much.
Everybody, and look forward to this journey together.
Beautiful, Debashish. Thank you so much. Beautiful. So I believe that, have we covered all the questions? I think so. Beautiful. So if everyone is okay, we're going to take 30 seconds to digest everything. If for any reason, any question pops out, like, oh, I wish I asked, there is time, place it in the chat, and after the exercise, we can still, whoever is here, we can still have a couple of minutes with you to answer your questions. So don't worry if you have something that, right now, like, oh, I wish I asked. You wish to ask, just ask. We are here for you. So let's take 30 seconds. So we're going now into a short exercise. It's going to be a couple of minutes. We're going to share some open guidelines about a posthuman educator. They have not to be taken in any way as, the final definitions. It's just a way to open the discussion and open the reflection. And then after this...
Sorry, Francesca, sorry to interrupt you, but there's another question.
Yeah, so we're going to, after the exercise, we're going to address the last questions for whoever wants to still stay with us. So because we're getting out of time, we want to make sure that we are doing this exercise, and then we'll have another 5 minutes at the end to answer to Vaishnavi and maybe anyone else who maybe have some more questions. So let me just share the Zoom activity. And I'm also happy to share the link. If you don't mind, Stefano, would you like sharing this link with everyone so that everyone can have access also to this? Okay. So we're going to look into 5 different and possible definitions of a posthuman educator. I'm going to read each of them. It's going to take around 2 to 3 minutes. After each of them, I'm going to give a little gong, just a little reflection for you to take a breath in. After that, you're going to find yourself in a group with other people, and then we're going to show what is that activity. But let's first just breathe in these definitions and just deep listening. You don't have to think about it. You just listen. And then we'll have time to deconstruct, add, or anything else, any of these. There are going to be 5 of them. So, a posthuman educator. A posthuman educator reimagines education as relational, ethical, and ecological, moves beyond human-centered paradigms to embrace learning with all life forms, ecosystems, and technologies. The second one, Stefano, do you want to read the second one?
Facilitates transformative, inclusive, and pluralistic learning. Supports transformation across species, systems, and worldviews. Encourages community-based, inclusive ways of knowing that value diverse voices, including the modern human.
Roberto, would you like to read the third one?
Integrates theory, practice, and self-awareness, connect abstract knowledge with embodied experience, foster deep personal reflection with real-world engagement.
Fourth one, Stefan, would you like to read that?
Guides learners in navigating emerging technologies like AI with care, imagination, and planetary consciousness.
Kuratelin would like to read the fifth one.
Designs learning for a changing world, recognizes that learning happens everywhere, not just classrooms. Sparks curiosity, empathy, and continuous adaptation in response to global shifts.
So again, these are just ideas. You don't have to, think of this as a final truth or anything. We're going to briefly divide you in a small group. You're going to find yourself with most likely 4 people. Can be 4, can be 5, can be 3, something like that, between 3 and 5. And this is what you're going to do. We're going to have something like 4 minutes to do this activity. And I would ask kindly to Joanna to read the Zoom activity.
Okay, so first you briefly introduce yourself. You have 30 seconds each, your name, location, and anything you wish to share connected to this course? Then, what aspect of being a posthuman educator feels most meaningful to you? What is it that you cherish most about the opportunity to take part in this course? Or you can share your definition of a posthuman educator. Then we'll co-create a phrase together, decide on a word or short phrase that weaves together your shared perspectives and intentions, and be ready to share this with everyone.
And now we're going to go into the guidelines. Once you find in the breakout room, there are going to be some guidelines to make sure that everyone feels comfortable. We're going to, each of us, read one. And if you don't mind, Rodrigo, you can read the first one.
Honor each other, listen with presence and openness, let each voice to hear without interruption.
Going to read the second one. Be aware of time. Keep your sharing brief so everyone has space to contribute. Consider a gentle timekeeper if needed. Time is very precious. We have very limited time, so make sure that everyone in your group is heard. Who wants to go next? Stefano.
Yes, I am working on the group, to creating a group, Francesca. So
Beautiful,
I let the
beautiful.
words to somebody else.
All right,
Perfect.
let me go ahead.
Yeah.
Embrace diversity. Honor different ways of knowing, expressing, and being. Welcome perspectives that may be unfamiliar or unexpected.
Thank you, Coratellian. What about Roberto?
Speak from the heart, share authentically from your lived experience. There is no need to impress, only to connect.
Thank you. Stefan?
Create space for the other than human. Hold space for silence, feeling, and the presence of the earth, technologies, and the unseen.
Joanna?
Co-create, don't compete. Build something together, whether a phrase, insight, or mood. Let collaboration guide you.
Beautiful, beautiful. And most importantly, Rodrigo?
Enjoy your time with each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the most important part. So I also want to know, I'm aware that we're getting really out of time. So if you need to go, please feel free. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a small group. You're going to have literally 4 to 5 minutes. So please make sure that everyone has time. Read it, share 30 seconds, and then create a small phrase, can be even just a term, like we did at the beginning, our collective poems. You're going to, once you're ready, we're going to share it in our chat. After 4 minutes, we're going to tell you you have 1 minute left. You're going to share your sentence, your intention, and then we're going to read it as a collective poem to close our meeting. And of course, we will have at the end a couple of minutes for the last question that might have come, for instance, for Vaishnavi. All right, so everyone, you're going to find yourself in a small group with others. Enjoy.
Hello. I was the only one in that.
Yeah, that's because I saw
Many
some
people have left.
exactly some people. It was randomized, but some people went out. So automatically, I saw that you were in a room alone. I was trying to move to somewhere else, but yeah, let's
If
see if I
you
can do it.
want to move me somewhere else, maybe
Mhm,
maybe
mhm.
if you want.
Yeah, I see if I have to do. I see if I can do it. Let me check. Mhm. Yeah, I think it now it's complicated, Kathleen, because you went out,
So, all right,
but
all
we
right.
can
I
work
I
on our own work.
I think it went well.
Mhm.
The entire session open day was good. I liked it, enjoyed it.
Mm. And if you have to find a word to describe maybe this momentum that we have experienced all together in the vision of the start of this course, what do you add? Which word would you say? And then I will tell you mine, and this will be our exercise.
You know what? Since the beginning and during all the discussion, I am having this feeling of being Alice in the Wonderland. I
Mm.
I feel we all are going to go to this wonderland and we are going to find new things. And this semester, I'm teaching children's literature, and I will be teaching Alice in the Wonderland. And I think
Mm.
what better text to talk about the post-human experience than being Alice in the Wonderland.
Mm. Wow. That's beautiful. I feel a sense of wonder. I instead my feelings went more into perceiving care, a sense of care.
Mm.
I think towards the people who found the time to connect today, in so much that we are extending a little bit the time. But yeah, try to answer the questions, try to create the situation for people to feel good. I felt good myself and very well spoken about from Francesca, for instance. So yeah, that was good. Care, I would say. Maybe this is what we
Stefano,
could.
però mandiamo il messaggio che hanno ancora un minuto prima di tornare.
Okay, let's try. I don't think
Oh,
I can send
I cannot
messages,
hear
but
you.
can.
Okay,
Oh,
1 minute.
allora, I think I can close it, but I cannot send messages. Yeah, okay. I don't know if people read this, Francesca, but let's see.
Non sento,
Okay.
non si sente niente.
Ok, io ti sento invece. Ok. Oddio. Ok. No?
Mm-mm. Noi non ti sentiamo, Stefano, perché il microfono.
Meglio così? Ok. Well, that's okay.
Do we have everyone? Yeah, I think so. Or still some groups. Okay, still some people are still chatting. Awesome. All right. Beautiful. So I would like to ask, if you don't mind, maybe sharing in the chat something that came, through the reflection. Can be one person for each group, or can be more people from each group. Maybe, can be different insights from each of us. So if you don't mind, maybe sharing something that was powerful, that, an intention, something that was shared. In the meantime, I'm also going to address one more question that we had from Vaishnavi. And she's saying, I applied for this course last month through the scholarship section, and I'm eagerly waiting to hear back. This opportunity is very important to me, as I plan to incorporate posthuman theory into my research. Is there anything else I can do or provide to strengthen my chances? I truly don't want to miss this chance. Vaishnavi, thank you so much for writing this. So we are going to, for this first round of people until August 16, we're going to first accept all the applications before we give feedback. After that, yes, it's going to be on an ongoing basis, because we're probably going to be reaching our cap before the final deadline. So after that, it's going to be an ongoing basis. But at the moment, we're going to have the deadline August 16, and after that, the week after, we're going to start giving responses. What I can say is that we are going to try our best to accommodate the people who are applying for a scholarship, and your application is really beautiful. I already looked into that. So we will try our best to accommodate the people who have applied for a scholarship. And thank you so much for writing this. Beautiful. So let's see. Okay. So, okay. Yeah, beautiful. Resonances, interferences, and diversity. Creating situations. We did not have enough time. Yeah, so that's why we're starting the course. We're going to have all the time until February, and then the connection is going to be much longer than that. Decipher self collectively. Care. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You're so welcome, of course. So I would like to say that this was an amazing, amazing meeting. I'm going to share now for anyone who would like to say anything else. We have, we are reached now the 2 hours, but we do have time. Time is unlimited, so we don't want to necessarily close right now. Oh, that's okay, Mohammed. So if maybe Stefano, Curatelian, Rodrigo, Roberto, Stefan want to say one more thing, and then if anyone also from the groups, from the participants want to share something with their own voice, anything, an intention, a presence, just say your name. This is the time. So I'm going to silence myself. We're going to have a couple of minutes like this, and then within 5 minutes, we're going to truly seal our meeting with a beautiful goodbye, 30 seconds of silence, and then time to reconnect later in September. So I'm going to be silent, and then if you don't mind, maybe just share like raise your hand to make sure that everyone can share. If you have, literally keep it to 30 seconds. So I'm giving an example. I raise my hand. Everyone, it has been such an honor and a joy to be in this meeting with you. I am so much looking forward to develop our collaborations through the Posthuman course and through many, many others. And we are here for each other to help each other shine in our existence. Thank you so much, everyone.
And I want to thank everybody for participating.
Stefano, we cannot hear you. At least I cannot hear you. I don't know why, but you are muted. Try to unmute. Try to talk now.
Yeah.
No, I can
Nope.
hear. I can.
No, the silence is the unlimited silence have been embracing your voice. Yeah.
I can hear.
Rodrigo. Oh, Donna, sorry. Doa and then Rodrigo. Doa, please.
Me too, I can hear him.
We can hear Stefano, but I think Doa raised their hand.
Yeah.
Her hand first.
Beautiful. Doa, I don't know if you can Yeah, maybe there are some restrictions, but yeah, so I see that Doa, you were trying to say something. So we have to see because it is, thank you so much, Shabna. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think that maybe there are some restrictions, so maybe not everyone is able to have access to the video and to the speaker, but you can write your note on our chat. And if any of the faculty would like to say something, please, this is the time. Roberto, Rodrigo, Stefan, Curatelian, Joanna.
Well, I'll let you
Lovely.
go ahead.
All right, I think everyone is at peace, or we cannot hear.
Yeah.
All right, so can you hear me or not?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Can you?
All right, so I'm the only one who can be heard. All right, so I guess the meeting has to be closed, but we can read through the chat. So I'm just going to, just look at the chat, all the beautiful notes. And at this point, what we can do is just close with a short meditation, because since the internet is telling us that it's time to go into silence and go into our own envisioning our projects. Keep in mind, everyone, you have 1 week to apply for the course, and after that, most likely you're going to be put on a waiting list, and things can always happen. But if you really want to share and to be part of this course, make sure to apply within next Saturday, so 1 week from now. So should we go into the last meditation, 2 minutes? So we are taking in all the information and visions and reflections that have been shared today on being a posthuman educator. We're going to take this week to deeply meditate and pray and think and take walks, swim, fly, dream, whatever you need to do to see if this is what you want and what you need in the next 6 months of your life. It's going to be a beautiful journey. You are ready for that. We are ready for that. And it's not going to be stressful. It's going to be intentional. And make sure this week to take some time and really see what is that you want to develop. And if this is the right time, we want to do this every year. So hopefully we're also going to have it this year, so you don't need to rush. But if you want to do it this year, look into yourself and what is that you want to develop right now in your life, in your work, in your academic career, in your non-academic career. And take some time, don't rush it through. And then write something that gives you joy. Write down a project that gives you joy. You can always change this project, but make sure that you tap into something that is important to you. And feel free to connect with some of the people that you met today, sharing emails, WhatsApp, whatever you want to maybe help each other in the process. You can always connect with us. We have our email address that is here, posthumaneducation@gmail.com. And now we're going to take 30 seconds of silence. And after this, we're going to end our meeting and go on with our lives that are part of these meetings. Thank you so much, Stefano, Roberto, Rodrigo, Joanna, Gratilian, Stefane, Debashish, and all the amazing people who connected today, Surya, Aruna, Aura, Blash, Doa, Gitanjali, Jan, Jaya, Joanna, Jonathan, Milena, Muhammad, Patricia, Pelin, Posthuman, Rodrigo, Coratelian, Shabnam, Stefano, Tanya, Vaishnavi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Google Meet, for allowing this event. Thank you so much, all the places that have been holding you in this moment, your own nest, your home, your forest, your city, your nation, your planet, our planet. And we'll reconnect. Any question, feel free this week to ask any question. And we hope to see you at the course. And in any way, don't worry, we are here for you. We are connected. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
See you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ciao.
Gracias.